Hey guys, Danny Wynn here with another YouTube video. I'm here with Dan Brown and Jordan Markle. Say what's up, Jordan.
Yo, what's up, guys?
So, what'd you do this weekend?
I won the Dragon Ball Super Nationals event.
Yeah, huge congratulations, man. I was so happy for you. Watching that game, I was like, my heart was literally racing for you, man. It was crazy.
Bro, it was very intense, very nerve-wracking for sure. Especially at game 3. It
Yeah,
was just it was so back and forth.
that was crazy. That it went to like turn 6 or turn 5.
I believe I believe it was turn 5 because I think I got the full energy
Yeah, you didn't
and then
charge it.
passed
Yeah.
and then did not charge on my turn. So I think it was just 5. I think it was turn 5.
Yeah, that was an amazing game.
Still, a pretty long storm game.
Yeah, for sure. So we're here to do a deck profile with him, show off what you played. Real interesting point, not a single set 5 card. Yeah, so we'll go
It's
over the deck real quick, and then Jordan will go over some points. First, 3 hidden power Wiseguys, 3 hidden darkness Minoshas, 2 Rudigrun, 4 sleeper combos, 4 unyielding, 2 adoptive father, 4 Bardock, 2 Videls, 2 Jeans, 4 scrambling assaults, 2 Bardock Will of Iron, 2 Mira, 2 scientist foo, 1 flute, 4 bean, 3 successor with 2 battering, 2 flying nimbus, 2 planet. And for the side deck, 1 Sky, 2 Mafuba, 2 Sun Goten, 1 battering, 2 nimbus, 2 Chronona, 2 Haru Haru, 2 Massan, and 1 Mira. So first off, most interesting thing I noticed right away is you're playing no dependable Gokus.
yes.
So,
No, you're good.
yeah, how'd you come up with that?
Honestly, like I never played the card. I never thought it was necessary. It's definitely a solid card to me, maybe like a 2 of or so. But if you see the way that I'm playing the deck, a lot of people have been cutting the Bardock package with the ape, the Bardock ape, or at least trimming it down, as well as the gene blocker going into the sideboard. But I like more of a slower type, more slower decks, like control decks. So I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit slower, have some defense if I needed it. And so, like, by doing that, I really didn't have the space. It's not that it wasn't a good card; it's that I just didn't have the space for it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I instantly noticed that you definitely play Storm like a completely different way, and it's actually probably definitely how you ended up winning. And the big thing is you adjusted the deck for your own playstyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the main thing. The, the same thing with the Nimbus, the Nimbus main board. Like a lot of people were putting those in the sideboard by playing. They were just playing like, more offensive cards, like Unbreakable Goku is kind of like one of the cards some people subbed in. It's like it can be a defensive card, but most of the time it's like an offensive like 10k draw, just to put some more pressure on there. But I preferred the more defensive approach to like keep my Gotens alive, keep my Videls alive, especially with like the Bardock blocker and stuff like that. And then that way, like if you save them, like you're never losing cards as long as you can make the cards back up on your turn. So you also get to pressure your opponent as well. So it's like you get an additional swing with each of your cards, and while gaining more card advantage.
Yeah, it's actually real interesting. You're definitely a master of the Storm. Like it's crazy. I've been watching you play it for months now, and it's really showing through that you're just like probably one of the best Storm players in the game right now.
I appreciate that, man. It's real weird how I got started on Storm because I really didn't want to play like an aggro type deck because it's definitely still an aggro deck even with some of the defensive tools. Like I'm just a control player, so it was really awkward that I stuck to Storm. And I mean, the main reason I stuck to it was because it was just such a good deck. Like I really just wanted to do well and win, and so that's why I played it.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely probably the best deck choice for this weekend. So what are your thoughts about Minosha and Hrudigarn, the legs?
So basically, a little bit of inside knowledge before the event started. my deck list was slightly different. I think I was playing a third Wanderer, and I was playing one less Supreme Con. I was playing two Unbreakables. Um, and I think I cut something for Amira. I can't remember. There was another card, but anyway, I ended up taking the Unbreakables out because I didn't think they were necessary, and I added in the Supreme Kai and the other Mira. So that put me at 4 rum cards, and 4 rum cards actually was amazing. Like that was like probably the best thing I could have done to the deck, while also adding a third double strike. Um, but the Minotia count was 3-2. It worked out perfectly. I never thought I needed any more in the deck. It could even have been 2-2, honestly. But it worked out.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the main adaptations that most Storm decks made going into set 5 was more double strikes and
Mhm.
that main deck batterings, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that was just the basic adaptation you made. What about main decking Gene Blocker?
Main deck in the Gene Blocker. I've actually always main two of it in most of my lists, and it's mainly to defend my early Gotens. A lot of times you'll play Goten early and kind of just like swing with it and pass, and that's usually a pretty easy target for your opponent to kill. Um, but a lot of times, if you just play the Gene Blocker, you can defend. You use the card for your hand, which is fine. It's not a big deal. You can play for free when you have Bardock on the board, but you can defend that Goten, and that Goten lets you look at the top 3 on your turn, have an additional swing, and get another card. So it's beneficial to just pitch a Gene, to save your Goten. So that's really why I ran it for the early game pressure, and I was able to keep my board in control. Because I always tried to keep board presence. Like that's the biggest thing. At least when I play Storm, I like to have the board.
Okay, so one thing, like obviously you got first, like so
Mhm.
you went as far as you could in this tournament.
Mhm.
But if you could, going back as hindsight's 2020, what would you
Mhm.
change in this list?
That's tough, man. With the matchups I played, I could see myself, as crazy as it sounds, I could see myself playing one of the mass stands in the main board over one of the Miras. Mainly because like the Mira was good like all day. Obviously, Mira is an amazing card. It ended up like winning me the tournament. But in certain matchups, it's just completely unnecessary. And I'd much rather have the mass stand in the main board for people that main deck Crisis Crusher, which there was a lot of people that played that main decked it. And so like game one, I thought I would be okay, and they had it, and so like I had to play around it. And it's not that the deck can't, but like when you have the mass stand, it makes it so much easier to win.
Yeah,
So
and
that was the main thing.
so another thing that was interesting about your list, like a lot of people, like including our guys, were all about Krillin. So why Harudegar instead of Krillin? Was it the super combo?
Yes, it was a super combo. It was the Minotia Wanderer combo that can generate you some cards. Can generate you some cards early game. Another thing against the Cell matchup, I played Droids twice. I went 1-1. My only loss was to Justin Rios playing Droids. But I liked playing the Minotia cards as well against them because when they Cell chain you can pitch them, and you can search your deck for Wanderers, so it gives you like an additional card or two if you have them. But the other thing with Fruitigarn is his front side gains you a lot of card advantage. I like that you see so many cards. Curling can self-awaken, I'm pretty sure, but I never thought that was really too relevant, at least in my testing. And also just untapping 2 is the biggest thing. Like, untapping 2 is pretty huge. And then, lastly, Rudigarn's backside effect, where you put a card on top when you swing, if you have 4 energy. My deck was a little bit slower, with all the blockers and stuff, so I got to like turn 4 or 5 sometimes. And so that's just additional card advantage I'm getting by doing that.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And with Krillin, you're not really playing blockers at all. You're more so using the extra card advantage like that Krillin can get. The different kind of card advantage, of course. Like
Mhm.
you use like Raging Spirits and Gohans more in Krillin
Yep.
type decks. Yeah, so
Mhm.
wow, like it's actually so interesting here because you're obviously the way you practice it and just playing the deck, you completely built. This list is like just perfect for you. That's why
Yeah.
you say like
Yep.
you wouldn't change anything. Like
Mhm.
the whole list is made for you.
Mhm. And that's the thing. I play with Nick Brady, awesome player, local. Um, he built the deck a lot differently. Like he was really heavy on Miras, he was really heavy on Batterings, and he was really heavy on East Kais. He went like a 3-4-3 split, with 4 being the East Kai, and so he was really heavily invested in that. Didn't play the blockers. Um, and like the deck was like super good versus Hercule, but like I felt like against like your other matchups, it was lacking. You couldn't really protect your Go-Tens and keep the board presence as much. And so, like, that's the one where we're a little different. Like, he's more of an aggro player, I'm more of a control player. So I think that's where you can see the differences in the deck with the blockers.
Yeah, and like the differences in the way you played in the
Mhm.
on the stream. Like I was watching with other people, of course, like Matt. There was a bunch of people watching outside it for watching you play,
Mhm.
and like they were
Mhm.
discussing your play line so much, and
Mhm.
no one ever like could see what plays you're gonna make except the obvious mirror bad ring. Besides that,
Yep.
like no one was able to call your plays. You were just like thinking through your plays so much.
It does. It does. It actually does have a lot of thinking involved. Like I know a lot of people think it's like a skillless deck, which I do agree. The deck is insanely broken, and I don't think it should be a part of the game. But at the same time, I do think the deck is actually highly skillful, and I think you saw that throughout the day with all the Storm decks that were topping and all the good players that were on Storm.
So, how good was the sudden Goten the side? Like, was it coming at all? Was it like, did it really help you? I guess it was for Crisis Crusher. I'm mostly assuming.
It was some for Crisis Crusher. The main issue with the deck was it ran a lot of 10Ks, so I didn't really want to mess with the consistency of the deck. So the Sun Gotens weren't that great in the sideboard. However, I needed to side them in case I played against a Shenron deck that would loop Android 16. So like the turn I would go in for my kill, I could at least kill the Android 16 blocker and then push. Um, However, I only played one. I played 3 Shenron decks total in both days, and only one had the Android 16. So it wasn't really that necessary. But like you said, it's decent against Crisis Crusher. But I think it was like round 3 or 4. I think I sided in Goten's game 2, and they were kind of bad. And I'm like, why don't I just side in Mass Sand? It's just much better because as far as like using my energy efficiently, I have to overwhelm anyway. So if I can overwhelm, get a 20k double strike body, and kill a Crisis Crusher, that's like better than like having to pay an energy just to kill it. You know what I mean? For just 5k combo. So it was like more
Yeah.
energy efficient as well. The only thing is like obviously Mass Sand can't kill Android 16, so that's why I had the Sun Gotens in there just in case.
So one of the big debates about this tournament was the fact that it had. I mean, obviously the best player like wins their matches, but it was all about dodging your worst matchup in the format.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that evaluation of the format? That the tournament was about just not playing your worst matchup.
Oh, I was actually saying that before the even tournament started the night before. I was actually had an audible, a potential audible to Hercule. I was on Storm pretty heavily, but I thought that Hercule was also really good. And it was the counter to Storm, so I thought a lot of good players would be on Storm, so I could counter with Hercule. I think the match is not as favored for Hercule as it once was. A lot of people know what Hercule does now, so you can kind of prepare for it. As you can see in my list, I ran the third Champa, or the third Iskai, and the second Mira, mainly for that matchup, because it's what I was testing against, and I wanted to make sure I could be able to have a chance game 1, and not only have a chance like game 2 and 3, because the deck's kind of slow. But yeah, it's I don't even know where it was at, but but that's pretty much it. Just like dodging matchups was very very important. I didn't play any Hercule, so that was awesome. I literally played no Hercule at all through the entire event.
Oh my god.
And so that obviously helped. I didn't really have to play against that. Played against a lot of Janimba though, which was like a deck I didn't play too much against, and it was kind of tough. It took me to game 3 a few times. So that was one deck I kind of came out of nowhere, but after everybody was like training for the demon sword Janimbas that day, I was like, I probably should not play Hercule. I think everybody's gonna play Janimba. So that's like kind of like why I decided not to play it. I was like, I was like,
Okay.
Hercule could have some bad matchups, and I'll just play the deck I know how to play. So
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead,
Dan.
Danny. What I was just gonna say is like I think people realize that Hercule can counter Storm, but one, it's not as effective as a counter as it was, and
Yep.
its matchups against the other meta decks are so not in its favor that it's just not worth playing as a counter anymore. And I think that's why Storm can succeed this weekend.
Yep, and I totally agree with that, and I think a lot of the Janimbas actually help with that, the amount of people playing it. I definitely saw quite a few Hercule decks, but they were kind of getting knocked out by the Janimbas because it's just like, I've never tested it, but it feels like such a one-sided matchup. What Hercule wants to do is draw a lot of cards, what Janimba wants you to do is draw a lot of cards. Like, so it kind of just fits right into their kill strategy.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too. What was Janemba the hardest matchup overall in the whole tournament for you?
I really can't say it was. I mean, I played 3 Janimbas, I beat them all. One was a 2-0, the other 2 went to game 3. My hardest matchup has to be Droids, just based on statistics. I played 2 Droids, I won 1, lost 1. My only loss was to Justin Rios. But the game I did win, it was a tough match. Like, it was a very tough match, and the guy I was playing is Alex too. Yeah, I've known him for a little while. He had a really good Android list, and he was playing like King Vegeta, Surprise Attack, all like the good stuff. And like when they play that stuff and they know how to play the matchup, it's very tough to win. So I would definitely say Androids was my toughest matchup. But had I played Hercule, I feel like that would have still been my toughest matchup, but still winnable.
So just transitioning here away from the tournament itself. So I think it's something a lot of people want to know. I mean, and I think it's something me personally, like I like to get feedback on this. When you're preparing for a tournament, whether it be Nats or a regional, a tournament that like is important for you to do well at, or you feel like, how do you prepare? What is your steps of preparation? Like for me personally, what I do is I read every card in the upcoming set if there's a new set coming out, and then like we'll sit and brainstorm decks, just basic starting decks for all the potential meta. So just like, what do you do?
I'd say I do relatively the same thing. Definitely for this event, we didn't have much time to test for the new set, so like as soon as cards are coming out, we were all reading them, trying to figure out what the good decks were and stuff. And you hear some buzz on the boards and all that stuff. And me and Danny are part of Pat Chat, so we always hear some ideas in there as well. But just to look over all the cards, figure out what you think the best decks are going to be, and go from there. And testing is huge. I am like, we don't have a lot of locals here, but the locals that I do have are just amazing test partners. Zach O'Flame, Nick Brady, Sawyer Deal. We play all the time. And so we usually can pick out the best decks and test them against each other in a pretty timely manner. And so when we did this, we just came to the conclusion that Storm only had one bad matchup, and it was Hercule. And all the other decks really weren't that great against Storm. So it just ended up working out that way.
So Danny, do you have anything else that you want to ask?
Yeah. So you were talking about how Storm is like definitely a skill deck, and I can actually really agree with that. Like when I personally play Storm, or I've seen other players, they're just balls to the wall, pretty much, just going trying to get as many attacks as possible, get down to the magic 2 life or 3 life number, and so yeah, I was when I was playing, I played Miguel actually twice. I played him in Swiss. He's my only loss, and I played him in top 16, and he actually definitely showcased that to me, because I actually played 2 Storm in Swiss, and I beat the other Storm because he was definitely misplaying in certain ways. Like, I think a big thing is use a lot of whatever matchup you sit across from, you should have a game plan and know what to do. And Miguel actually definitely showed that to me when I was playing, and he kept that 4 life the entire time. I was playing Blue Yellow Shenron, and he knew that if he went to 3 life, he would be in big trouble. He would possibly die, and he was definitely one of the more skillful Storm players that day.
Yeah, most definitely. He was an amazing opponent, great player, and I actually played him twice as well, and we drew in Swiss.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had some amazing games.
Yeah, Danny oops his way through his last one.
I outskilled that. Come on now.
But
Oh my
so
gosh.
one of the great, so like, how did it feel? Like, obviously, I know it feels great, but like, dude, how good did it feel when you like when it was all said and done, you won? Like, I'm sure it had to take a minute to hit you. Like, what happened?
Dude, it took a while to hit me, but like when I knew that it was coming down to that last turn when I had when he passed back to me with a blue open. I think he just had a blue open. He might have had a blue and a yellow, but I think he might have charged yellow anyway. When he had just the blue open at the end there, and I had like the double strike in hand with like I think it was like 60k or 55k or something like that. I figured he couldn't out combo it, and like once he took the 2 life, bro, I just knew I won, and it just felt like you saw the way I snapped down the mirror. Like if you watched the video, I just knew I had it, and it just felt amazing, dude. Like I was at a loss for words, and whenever the crowd, like whenever the people in the like just watching it outside, like whenever they started yelling, bro, that was just like it just gave me chills, and I think it will like forever. Like watching that video, it'll give me chills forever.
Yeah, I'm sure you can hear everyone aping out in the
Yeah.
main area. I bet you it was good though to have the curtain there, so like you didn't. I'm sure it alleviated a little bit because sometimes with VIP tables or feature matches, like people can crowd around. So I'm sure like being behind the curtain kind of helped a little bit keep you in the zone.
It did a lot.
But yeah, I couldn't imagine, especially when you hear everyone yelling and stuff.
Yep. It's just an amazing feeling, and I didn't know. I mean, obviously, like my opponent was an amazing player, and it sucks like that you have to do that, but like you want to win. It is what it is, and it's just an amazing experience all around.
No, it was definitely a long time coming, man. You deserved it.
I appreciate that, man, a lot. Really do.
Yeah. So, well, just want to say thanks, Jordan, for giving us the opportunity to do this deck profile and
Yeah.
interview on your winning deck.
Mhm.
Any
No
last
problem.
minute shout outs you want to do?
Yeah. Just shout out to like obviously I shout out my locals, but just shout out to like Pat, Chad, everybody else that helps me out. Also, I know this is on Wiseguys, but I gotta shout out my team, T4T. They're amazing. Robin, and all the players on the team, Ryan Severin, Alejandro Mena, Eric Goodwin, like literally everybody, helping me out, and yeah, it's just great to be a part of the team.
And what about your
Yep.
newest member, man?
Our newest member, Judge. Can I get a judge ruling?
Oh my god! I can't tell me serious or not.
No, I know what you guys are talking about. I mean, oh,
We'll edit
my
this
my new
out.
team, my new teammate, Corbin Nesvetter. That's how you say your last name.
All right, man.
But yeah,
Definitely.
had to make it awkward.
Definitely comment in the video or just hit up Jordan himself if you guys have any questions about his amazing deck and his win. Thanks for watching.
Yep.